Hi everyone, welcome back to the History of Football channel. Today on the channel I'm going to be doing another football and rivalry video. The first one I did were the East Anglian derby between Ipswich Town and Norwich City. Tonight I'm going to be talking about a derby which is happening in the next week or so. It's the Black Country derby between West Bromwich Albion and Wolverhampton Wanderers. So I'm going to be talking about the history of that derby. Just a bit of background on these two teams. Wolverhampton Wanderers, founder members of the Football League. They've won the First Division title 3 times, the FA Cup 4 times, League Cup twice, and the Charity Shield 4 times for a total of 13 honours. With West Bromwich Albion, they were founded in 1878. They're also founding members of the Football League. They've won the First Division title once, the FA Cup 5 times, the League Cup once, and the Charity Shield twice, for a total of 9 trophies. So in that regard, Wolves just edge West Bromwich Albion, particularly in the league titles. Wolves have won 3 league titles and West Brom just the 1. The earliest Black Country derbies were contested before the formation of the Football League. The first ever derby, the official one at least, took place on the 20th of January 1883 when Albion won 4-2 in the third round of the Birmingham Senior Cup. Wolves and Albion's first 2 official meetings, in brackets, came in the FA Cup in 1886 and 1887, with West Brom winning both of those times and going on to reach the final in each of those seasons. With both West Brom and Wolves being founder members of the Football League in 1888, the Black Country derby between these two teams is one of the oldest in world football. The Albion and Wolves derby reached its peak in the 1950s when both sides challenged for honours at the top of English football, with each of these teams being in the First Division from 1949 to 1965. Wolverhampton Wanderers themselves enjoyed a lot of league and cup success in the 1950s, winning several honours. West Bromwich Albion were also a strong side, renowned for their attack and flair, and also challenged near the top of the league. They won the FA Cup in 1954. It were also in that 1953/54 season in which the two sides finished as the top 2 clubs in the country for the first and only time in Football League history. Wolverhampton Wanderers finished 4 points ahead of West Brom that year, despite Albion topping the table for the majority of the season. Wolves' league win coupled with Albion's cup win meant that these two sides contested the Charity Shield in 1954, the only time the two teams had met in the final of that competition and of any competition. The game finished 4-4 in front of a crowd of 45,000 at Molineux. Throughout the rest of the century, both sides met frequently, with a 6-year period in the 1980s the longest gap without a meeting between the two Black Country rivals. When the Premier League were formed in 1992, both West Brom and Wolves were outside the top division, but they continued to meet in the new First Division throughout the 1990s. The rivalry remained intense, and due to police concerns and televised games, the fixture had not been staged at the traditional English kick-off time at 3 o'clock on a Saturday since 1996. Hooliganism in the fixtures was a big problem in the 1960s, and the frictions between fan bases caused regular restrictions on local pubs on match days. In the 2001/2002 championship season, Wolverhampton Wanderers and West Brom were both competing for promotion to the Premier League. At one stage, Wolverhampton Wanderers were 10 points ahead of West Bromwich Albion, but only managed to pick up a few points towards the back end of the season. Subsequently, West Bromwich Albion clinched automatic promotion to the Premier League, whilst Wolves had to settle for the playoffs, where they were subsequently beaten by Norwich. The following season, however, West Brom were relegated from the Premier League and Wolverhampton Wanderers were promoted in their place. After a 5-year break without a derby between Albion and Wolves, in the 2006-2007 season, it saw the teams meet a record 5 times. West Brom won the first meeting 3-0 at the Hawthorns before Wolverhampton Wanderers won the return fixture 1-0 at Molineux. The clubs also met in the FA Cup fourth round, with Albion triumphing 3-0 at Molineux. A major riot followed in the city centre as hundreds of people clashed. At the end of the season, the clubs finished level on points and met in the Championship playoffs. Both legs were won by Albion, sending them through to the final 4-2 on aggregate. However, they would lose the Championship playoff final to Derby 1-0 at Wembley. In the 2010-2011 season, the two sides met for the first time in the Premier League, marking the first top-flight derby in nearly 27 years. The first leg meeting at the Hawthorns ended 1-1, with Jamie O'Hara giving Wolves a first-half lead before an injury-time equaliser from Albion's Carlos Vela earned the Baggies a point. In the return fixture at Molineux, Wolves claimed the bragging rights with a 3-1 win. The victory was particularly crucial in helping Wolverhampton Wanderers escape relegation. In the 2011-2012 season, West Brom claimed the league double over Wolves for the first time since the 1997-98 season. They won 2-0 at the Hawthorns. This was followed by a 5-1 demolition of Wolves away at Molineux, with Peter Odemwingie grabbing a hat-trick. Following on from this loss, Mick McCarthy was sacked the next year as Wolves manager, and they were relegated from the Premier League at the end of that season. In the 2020-21 Championship season, the two sides met for the first time in 9 years. Their first meeting at the Molineux on the 16th of January 2021 ended in a 3-2 win for Albion. In the return fixture, West Bromwich Albion and Wolves played out a 1-1 draw. Both of these matches in the 2020-2021 season were played in front of no fans due to the COVID-19 pandemic. After these two sides won both their respective third round FA Cup fixtures, West Bromwich Albion and Wolverhampton Wanderers have been drawn in the fourth round of the FA Cup, which is scheduled to be played on the 28th of January 2024, and it will be played at the Hawthorns. This will be the 163rd meeting between these two sides. In terms of the overall record in this derby, West Bromwich Albion have won 55 times, Wolves have won 52, and there's been 41 draws. In total, there's been 162 meetings. In terms of crossing the divide, meaning players that have played for both West Bromwich Albion and Wolverhampton Wanderers, there hasn't been many. In the history of this rivalry, there's only been 36 players that have done so. I won't read out all the names, but some of the ones that people might know of: Craig Dawson, Jolene Lescott, Nigel Quashie, Jason Roberts, Cyril Regis, Steve Bull. Players like that have played for both West Bromwich Albion and Wolves, but as I said, not too many. So that is my video on the history of the Black Country Derby between West Bromwich Albion and Wolverhampton Wanderers. It's one of the most fierce derbies, I think, in English football. There's a lot of hatred there. It goes all the way back to founding members of the Football League, and it's all going to kick off again on the 28th of January 2024 in the FA Cup. So thanks to everyone that's been watching the videos recently. Thanks to everyone that's tuned in for this video. It's much appreciated. Let me know in the comment section below what your memories are of the Black Country Derby, and who do you think is going to win in this FA Cup tie, which is coming up in just over a week's time. So this has been History of Football, and I'll catch us all later in the next video, which will be coming out very, very shortly. Catch us all later. Ta-ra now.